And welcome back to the show. We're here with another really exciting guest, Miss Dragonfly, the relationship whisperer. Hi, Miss Dragonfly. Thank you for coming in.
Hello, and thanks for having me. It's so great to be here.
And you're going to tell us about your new book that you've written about. It's entitled Your Complete Partner and How to Choose the Right Partner for Love and Marriage for a Lifetime.
Yeah. I'm so glad I've got the chance to talk about it because it is very different from all the other relationship books out there. The market is pretty saturated, but if you've been reading relationship books, they all tend to say the same thing over and over again.
With a few slight variables.
Yeah, with a few slight variables. So what I present is a totally different way of looking at things. And that's why you can't read it and expect the same thing. I mean, it's not a regular relationship book, so to speak. So you can't expect to be reading the same things that you're always used to. And I have to admit that it is not politically correct because in my view, well, politically correct things are things that may sound good, but we all know it's not really true. So my goal is to help people, and to help people, you've got to tell them the truth.
Well, the thing about relationships these days, it seems to be that there's not that many successful ones. There's divorce lawyers are going really well.
Yes, they certainly are. I think the divorce rate, at least in Western countries, is around 50% now.
Wow.
So it's very bad.
In many instances, it could actually be higher. There's financial constraints and things that perhaps...
People are staying together whereas they really don't want to. So the actual rate, if it's going on the health of relationships and marriages, would probably be higher. Yeah.
So are you going to send divorce lawyers broke?
Hopefully, yeah. So that's what I'm aiming to do. Well, no, not to send them broke, but have marriages. People hook up and have great marriages, so they don't need to use a divorce lawyer.
Well, it's been said throughout the ages, like a good relationship can fulfill, but a bad one can actually be really horrible experience.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Basically, the premise is, look, your life would always be great with a good marriage. I mean, nothing could beat life with the right partner. However, you're better off on your own than with the wrong one. See, this is my premise. A lot of the relationship advice out there goes on telling you what you need to do, how to fix it, how to ensure a good relationship, whereas to me, prevention is always better than cure. So what do? We make sure we choose the right partner to begin with.
But that's easier perhaps said than done.
Okay, but for one thing, great thing about it eliminates a lot of problems and a lot of things that would need to be fixed. So, and yes, it is easier said than done, but because we have not been trained or taught how to choose a partner correctly. I mean, how many advice out there, how many parents, at least in Western countries...
There's no real night classes for it,
no
is there?
Classes. even parents don't tell their kids. You say, look, Sonny, when I was your age, I did this wrong and wrong. I chose wrongly. Don't tell your mum. but this is how you should choose. Okay? No one tells that to their kids. Okay, and all the advice out there, you have all these relationship experts, all these PhD psychiatrists out there giving all this relationship advice. But you know what? None actually gets the crux of it and miss the obvious, and that is choose the right partner to begin with. Choose someone that you're naturally compatible with. So that's why I'm Miss Dragonfly, because a lot of people don't know, a dragonfly can see through a lot of different spectrums, that the infrared mode, this mode, so forth, that we're not capable of in terms of the human eye.
Well, it's said that the dragonfly, the insect, their dragonfly, can actually see more spectrums than any other creature on this earth.
Yep.
So you can see.
Yes,
so is that like you? You can see things on different dimensions.
Dimensions. Well, not so many dimensions, but at least dimensions that a lot of people miss.
Are you good for catching mosquitoes?
I'm good at swiping at them and probably whacking at them.
The mosquitoes of relationships.
But no, I'm not here to be a nuisance. I'm here to help you.
Oh, good.
How to choose correctly. So yeah, the basic premise, look, if you've already chose someone you're naturally compatible with, that's already one big step ahead. And a lot of advice there goes, how to keep it alive. Make sure you set aside time for each other at least once a week, and open your lines of communication and that sort of thing. Tell your partner that you love them. But hang on. Spending time with the person you love should not be an effort.
That's a good point, isn't it?
To make time. Look,
because you see that nearly everybody says that.
Yeah,
if you go to a marriage counsellor or whatever, you can pretty much imagine that's what they're going to tell you.
Yeah.
You got to communicate more. Oh, okay.
Okay, spend time with each other. Look, I guess most people have a best friend. Yeah?
Yeah.
Now that person became your best friend because you got along so well and you enjoy each other's company. It didn't have to be an effort, otherwise you wouldn't be best friends.
Yeah.
Now, you would make time to see your best friend. Yeah. Not because, and it doesn't become an effort because you want to.
Well, and you sort of nurture that relationship.
Yeah, and so why would why would it be no problems for you to make an effort to spend time with your best friend, but not with your partner, not with your spouse, your marriage, your life partner? And then this is one thing that people don't get. When people get asked the question, actually, not many people ask, what's a marriage? I think the first thing people will say is, that's a really dumb question. Everyone knows what a marriage is. Okay, what is it? Then that's the reaction. When you have a wedding and then there's a marriage certificate you sign and then you become legally binding and thing, or I guess it's someone you really love and enjoy company with, and then you decide to spend the rest of your life together, and then you get married, and that's what a marriage is. And so you can see that not even the definition is out there, really. And people don't understand conceptually. Legally, yes, we all know what legally it is, but not conceptually.
Especially the lawyers.
Yeah, especially the lawyers. But conceptually, people don't.
Yeah.
So what is the answer? What is a marriage? It is simply a partnership in life.
Okay.
Okay. You've chosen
like a team.
Like a team, yeah. Like if you set up a business, people have set up a business and they take on a business partner to work together on their business. And so that business partner, well, firstly you've got to get along with each other because you're going to spend a lot of time.
And they've got to have the goods.
They've got to bring something to the table, to the business, contribute. So why would it be any different from their life? Because you have far more to lose in your life. And so bringing them in, firstly, of course, you've got to love them, get along very well, want to spend time with each other, but they've got to work with you. Again, you in the life to build up your life together, to build the best life you can together. So again, it's life partner, and you both have to act as a team. You work in this teamwork. Like that's what I mean. Like nothing beats life with the right partner, but you're better on your own than with the wrong one. Just imagine. You've got a carriage, and you've got a horse drawing it. Now, if you had a second horse, you'll go even faster. You have two horses drawing the carriage. Wouldn't you? You get there. Yeah. However, if it's only one horse wants to run and the other horse doesn't want to go in the same journey, then what happens? You get nowhere. Okay, or if both horses want to go in separate directions,
You get a conflict.
you get a conflict, and then you go nowhere. Okay, but they both want to go in the same direction, and they both put the effort into it. You get to the destination and your goal much quicker. So that's the three. Yeah. So the three factors you need to have a successful relationship long term. So I'm talking about life relationship, which is basically a marriage. Firstly, you've got to get along just as you are, naturally.
Yeah.
None of this effort to put in, because let's face it, the easier something is, the longer it will last.
What a good point.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm sure everyone out there would be nodding and agreeing, because just like imagine you've got a job in this very toxic environment, and a lot of people out there would have, whereas you've got to be tiptoeing around people, and it's very stressful and so forth, and even the boss is not pleasant. You can't stay there for very long, and you're going to leave the first chance you get. Sometimes you might stay there and put up with it because you need the money, so forth, but you don't love your job. You don't want to be there. That's not going to last long. Now, contrast, you're in a job where it's environment, everyone's so friendly, helping each other out. The boss is great. Your job, it's so easy for you to do. Conditions are, and it's so pleasant. You don't want to leave. Why would you leave? Then, I guess even if somewhere else pays you more money, I think, you're so happy here. Why would you leave?
Yeah.
It's like, you're in this relationship. It's so great. This marriage so great. And you see someone else is far prettier and far better looking than your partner. You wouldn't want to leave just for that, because you're so happy where you are. And that's the one thing. Looks, yes. Looks are important in the initial stages, but
they diminish rather rapidly.
Yeah, because you need to be attracted to someone firstly to spend time, to want to get to know them. But looks is the one thing that definitely doesn't get better with age. I can categorically say that. So it can be the initial thing, a contributing factor, but it cannot be the main thing or big thing.
Good looks only last a short time.
Yeah, unfortunately. That's why, people buy cute little puppies for a while, just attracted for the looks, and then it grows up. Becomes a dog, and if it doesn't have other things to make you love it, that's why I guess a lot of people abandon their pets, which is a very sad state of affairs. And just like then, people abandon their marriages, which is even causes a lot more consequence.
Yeah,
for that,
especially if there's children involved.
So we want to avoid that by picking the right partner in the first place, so make us happy.
Again, can you provide any insights of how to do that? And I'm sure there's quite a bit in this book. Looking at the table of content. Yeah. Good.
Yeah. So I put out the three main points. I go through in a lot more detail in that.
Yes.
3 main points, like as I mentioned. Firstly, you have to get along just as you are. Second point is you have to share the same values. Now, in terms of values, I'm not talking about believing, say, having the same views on human rights or animal rights, because no one gets divorced because they don't agree with their partner's views on human rights or animal rights, do they?
Save the whales.
Save the whale, and your partner doesn't believe in it.
And your partner's eating whales. That's not going to work.
Yeah, but that's really well. You wouldn't have gotten together in the first place if that happened.
Yeah.
But what values we're talking about is family values and the dirty M word, money. Now, money, everyone doesn't want to talk about it because it's not politically correct. I guess you don't talk about it in polite company, and if you notice, it's not really talked about much by relationship experts or people giving relationship advice, but it is a big factor. Like it or not, it definitely is, because every time there's a recession, divorce rates go up.
Is that right?
Yes. Yes, those are statistics, and you cannot argue with statistics. And it's not because of people being greedy or so forth. It's because it's stressful. When you're under financial stress,
Yes.
yeah. Well,
Most marriages are, I think the financial stress is a huge
puts
factor.
a lot of pressure. I mean, firstly, you're not fun to be around when you're under stressful, and you get snappy.
Yeah.
Things set you off very easily.
You're less humorous. And
and that's becomes a perfect environment for arguments. And then you just kind of continue arguing, and what does happens? Fine, I'm leaving, or so forth. And that's how it breaks up.
Yeah, and ends up with an eruption.
Yes. So the less pressure that a relationship, or especially a marriage, can avoid, the better and the more chances of it surviving over the long term. The longer it can survive for. And unfortunately, money is a big, big stress in people's lives. And also the other thing with families, if you know, you have one party far more closer to their family than the other partner is, it can create friction and issues.
Indeed.
So, indeed. And then the third factor is, of course, the goals. You both want to get to the same destination. Want to achieve the
same common ground.
Common ground. You know, it's just like you have my example with the two horses, one wanting to go right and wanting to go left. The carriage gets torn apart that way.
They're after the grass that's greener on the other side.
No.
Chance.
Yes. So, and the point where, look, people get. A main thing about people saying, "Oh, single life is so good because I get to do what I want." Okay, but just imagine if you were going on a trip yourself somewhere. Okay, sure, you get to go wherever you want, but then you don't get to share any of that experience with someone. Say, "Oh, look at that landmark, isn't that great? Everything is just you. You have the feeling, you can't share it, and you don't, go somewhere you don't have anyone to help you. You need a second person, or what if you end up getting seasick or sick on your holiday? And then what happens?
It's good to know that someone out there has got your back.
Has got your back, and if that person also wants to go where you want to go, see the same sights you're going to see.
If you're into the same music, same sort of genres, or not just music, but food, everything really in life. If you have a common ground on
the common ground needs to be on the main things. I find that people go to, say, certain clubs where they've got a hobby, thinking they'll find someone with the same interest, but that's not enough. Really, liking the same music and the same food, or even doing the same hobby is not enough. But it's the values and it's the goals in life that you want to get to is the main point.
But in life we change our perspectives. We have an intention, but that intention somewhat diminishes over time, and we go in different directions. You know, when we were young, we used to play with action men or sort of dolls and stuff, and now you wouldn't do that. You know, we grow out of different things.
Yeah.
And how do you know within a partner that you're going to grow?
Grow with. Okay, so that's one. I advise people not to marry too young. Late 20s or early 30s. Not young. The reason being is because your personality doesn't actually stabilize until you're in your mid-20s at least. And so if it hasn't stabilized and you've picked a partner before that,
they might want to go traveling around the
something,
world.
Yeah, once they've grown up, so to speak, the adult personality is stabilized. Yeah, and so that is a reason. And yeah, when you do reach a bit of maturity around 30, then you do know what you want in life. You get a fair idea. So that's the time to really be choosing your partner.
Looking for a team partner.
A team partner, a team player. Your partner in life.
Yeah.
So,
because otherwise you could just, it's just really based on good looks and having fun, isn't it? I mean,
look, if that's all you're after, if you just want a casual partner, then you don't need any of this advice at all. Because all you need then is just someone good looking and fun. Because it's just for the moment. It's just like, you've got a party and you just need something, some disposable cutlery and so forth, because it's only going to be one-time use. And so you go and you buy, look, it might not have the best pattern or design on the plates, paper plates, or maybe not just not your favorite color, but it will do because you don't spend much on it, and it's only going to be used once. However, if you're going to spend good money buying Royal Doulton or Wedgwood, as everyone knows about crockery, they are very expensive. You better like it.
Well, yeah.
Because
wear gloves when you bring it out.
Yeah. And then, choose something that you want to keep for a long time. The design has to be timeless and so forth. And it's something you're not going to change your mind on because it's going to really cost you to change it.
And you would treat that a lot different than you would a cheap one.
And you cheap one, yes. You would have put a lot more effort into choosing it because it's going to cost you a lot more. and yeah. And so that's the thing. And another issue that I find a lot of couples do, which they shouldn't, is compete with each other. It's trying to prove, and in this present environment of culture, they want men to act more like women and women to act more like men, and I'm better than you, and so forth. Women are better than men, or men are better than women, and forth.
It seems like we've lost our place.
We've lost our place.
We don't really know what our position is as a man or perhaps a woman.
Yeah. First of all, look, life is hard enough. Why compete with each other instead of working together to face life's challenges? And men have a place and women have a place. They say, women are just not the same as men, but just as important. And if in my book, I base a lot of this on yin yang. Look, the yin yang symbol, the black and white.
That's from the Taoism.
Yeah, that's from the Taoism.
And it's like the white symbol with a little bit of black
with black dot, and
black with a little bit of
white. I mean, a lot of people would have seen it and familiar with it, but I guess a lot of people don't really understand what it means.
Yes.
And so, and it's not opposites; it's complementary. Like you have the aggressive, the passive, and so the strong and the weaker side. It's just like day and night, and a right hand and a left hand. As a matter of fact, that's how you can think of men and women. A right hand and a left hand.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, say, look.
Well, you wouldn't want to be without one of your hands.
No, you wouldn't. You're saying, and you ask people, do you appreciate both their hands? I say, yes, absolutely. And you think about, look, most people are right-handed, yeah? And your right hand is the one that you use more often, and therefore it's built up to be stronger. And when you first reach for something, you reach with the right hand. However, it still needs the left hand to do a lot of the things. Because if the right hand was just so good, how about we take away your left hand?
You wouldn't need it anymore.
Yeah. If the right hand is so good, if men were so good, take away women, what happens? You see, you can do far less. It's even less than half what you can do with both hands.
It's a very good point.
Yeah, with the right hand. Look, the thing is, you don't really notice how much
some things
of work.
You need two hands for. Some things you.
Yeah, you do, because you don't notice how much a role your left hand and plays until you don't have it
anymore.
Yeah, it's just like women. Yeah, they're not the same as men, but just as important. Yeah, you look like women.
Well, they've different qualities.
Different qualities, and women think that in order to be equal to men, they have to do what men do. Try to force themselves, wanting quotas on boards of
like construction workers
or CEOs and so forth. Women can be just as good as CEO. You want the exact amount of women on directorships, on boards of directors as men. It doesn't prove, you don't need to. I mean, women have traditionally had more nurturing roles because of the more nurturing nature of women. It's to say like nursing, aged care, teaching, so forth. Look, we have a shortage at the moment of nurses, aged care workers, and childcare workers, and we are suffering from that shortage, aren't we? We're feeling it.
Yeah.
You don't appreciate something until you don't have it.
Yeah, indeed.
And then you don't realize how important a function it has in society. And so women are just as important as men, but not the same. And it's a great thing that we're not the same. You don't
It's a great thing they're not the same.
I mean, look, you wouldn't want two right hands, would you? Instead of a right and a left.
Well,
Try working two. Right hand is so much stronger than the left. Let's have two right hands. It should be even better than having a right and a left. But I guess people know.
I can see your point.
Yeah, it's different qualities.
It's different qualities. And
Yeah.
they talk about women's intuition and men has an analytic. Men can engineer a bridge and send
so
a rocket
forth.
into space and so forth. But
And that's, I know, it looks very grandiose, but
indeed, but the women's role is just as important.
just as important. Just like, you have wartime, armies going to war, you have the soldiers, yeah, but you can't maintain that army without the support, the logistics support, the supplies to the army, food, medical supplies, whatever.
Yeah,
So the support is just as important
indeed.
to function.
So your book has got some really interesting in the table of contents here. You've got several chapters and State of the Union. What's separating men and women is the main number one opening statement. And you've got don't burn your bridges. Why marriages are failing. Consequences of incompatibility.
Yes.
No one is to blame when affairs happen. Love each other but still not entirely compatible.
Yep.
Having common interests isn't enough. Really good subject matters.
It's very thought-provoking, I'd say.
Thought-provoking.
Yes, so you cannot read this book the same way as you read any other relationship book, and you can't compare it. It's like apples and oranges. Like the Dragonfly, I've seen another angle to this, and this is to relationships, another point of view, or another way of looking at things, and this is what I'm presenting.
So interesting. It's such an important subject matter.
Yeah, though a lot of it, I guess, if people haven't been in relationships, if they read it, they may not understand it because they haven't had that experience to be able to look back on and conceptualize it. They don't have a common frame of reference, so to speak. But those who have been through relationships and especially been through divorces would absolutely understand it. Okay. So I guess, look, this is something that parents should have taught their children or should have been teaching their children. But unfortunately, a lot of them don't. And I guess two things, they don't understand or don't realize it's important. And secondly, they don't know how to explain. Okay, so in a way, I'm fulfilling that role through this book. Okay, and also my channel and explaining you how to choose. Hands up out there.
There's many cultures around the world that actually do the choosing for the bride and groom, isn't it? They arrange marriages.
Arranged marriages. I think statistically they are actually more successful than the ones people choose themselves. But
they say that you learn to love the person. You grow to love them.
Grow to love them because they're meeting all your needs.
And the wisdom of the parents is sort of overviewed, like the characteristics, and know that that's a recipe for disaster, or
because they've been through it before.
They've been through it before.
And so they're giving out the wisdom. But then again, even in those cultures, the parents don't explain why.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a shortcoming. Mainly because they don't know how to explain. And that's a big thing. I mean, children will listen to you if you can explain to them and that it makes sense to them. And not even children, even in their 20s, I guess. As long as it makes sense to them, why wouldn't you listen? The way I put it is just like the lioness teaching her cubs how to hunt, okay, because of their experience. And so that's what the parents should be doing.
How to find the right man.
Saying how to choose.
How to go in the hunt.
Yeah, don't make the same mistakes that I did.
No.
Yeah.
Keep lower in the
Yeah,
grass.
this is what
Move
I found
quieter.
out. This is what I've learned through my experience through life. Yes, and so that they don't know how to explain. And so besides my book, also I'm on YouTube as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
you've got a channel.
Yes.
Miss Dragonfly channel, YouTube channel.
Giving out relationship advice, and so through that I continually give advice, and also I do critiques on advice other people give.
Okay.
And so forth, or issues that comes up with well-known celebrities. I guess, well, we can't say that we can relate to them, but we could go because they've got a totally different lifestyle, but we can probably relate to the nature of their relationship. And
Yeah.
then you get it from there. So check it out now. Yeah, besides, look, in this present environment, I guess, of cancel culture, the sad fact is I realize that even promoting heterosexual love and marriage may be seen as offensive, so forth. So I've also had to mitigate this risk by being on other platforms as well. So besides YouTube, I'm also on Twitter, Rumble, and BitChute as well. So you can find all my videos there. And why do I stick to heterosexual relationships? Well, frankly, because it's what I know. That's what I know, and so that's the advice I give. I guess it's just like the well-known, I guess, dog trainer Cesar Millan. I think a lot of people would have heard of him. What does he do? He specializes in training dogs because that's what he knows, and so that's what he does. I mean,
So he doesn't do it with cats.
no cats or no horses. Why? Would someone ask, why don't you do horses? I don't know the first thing about horses, so I can't give any advice relating to horses.
Well, there's
So
talk of the famous line of the horse whisperer. Are you the relationship whisperer?
Yes, I certainly am the relationship
What's the
whisperer.
secret to a good relationship?
So it would start with my book. And
that's what we forgot to mention. The book is actually free, isn't it?
yes.
It's free. Hang
Yep.
on. Say that again. Is it what? How much is it?
$0.
$0.
$0. You know, on
What?
my website, you can download the ebook for free because I want, you know, it's also a personal wish of mine for people to have good relationships and good marriages. So I want everyone to be able to access this information. So I'm offering it for free as a free download. You can download it. Go to my website, missdragonfly.com, and it's for free, and you can download it for free. However, if you want to listen to the audio version,
There's an audio version as well.
There's an audio version. You can pay $4 for it. So I've kept the price low, so everyone can.
And that's to
can
cover
have
all the
access.
studio costs.
Studio costs,
and-
because it does cost a lot more than an ebook to produce.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've got the audiobook and the ebook.
And the ebook. So accessible to everyone anywhere in the world.
Wow. Well, that's pretty cool. Free book. Okay. And you've got what makes a successful marriage, the yin and yang of a great marriage, the secret to a successful marriage, the simple answer with an exclamation mark.
Yeah. Marry the right partner in the first place.
In the first
place.
But how do you do that? Because there's all these sort of dating agencies and swipe left, swipe right, or whatever.
That's all based upon appearance. Based on appearance, and it's fine to just meet people through that, but you can't choose a partner based on that. Obviously, you get to know each other. You go on a date, but then you go through to match that partner with yourself, with my book, with the guidance through my book, what you need to match.
So it's all right to go out and have a bit of fun, but if you're actually looking for someone for a long term,
then you got to put a little more thought into it.
You got to put a bit more thought into it.
A lot more thought into it. Okay. But also,
and the thing is that in the beginning of a relationship, most people are pretty well guarded, and I know in the male sense, there's an old saying about men are like peacocks. you know, and they walk around, next thing you know, they'll open up all the feathers and everybody goes, wow. And they sort of strut around and show their stuff and whatever. And then they can't keep up that sort of appearance for long.
No, you cannot. I mean, this is one thing that a lot of people do. They present, because they're well, especially women, because they're more intuitive, they want the relationship to work. They want it more so strongly, and they're more flexible. So they present an image or try to be something they're not, someone they're not, to make the relationship work. And so then after they're married, well, you can only do that for a certain period of time, because then you get tired and eventually you need to revert back to being yourself. And once you do, guess what?
You're revealed.
You're revealed and the relationship falls apart. Because it can only work, it worked based on the personality or what you presented. That wasn't your own. And if you're your true self, it doesn't work. So that's why I think you marry someone you're naturally compatible with. Yeah, but that is actually also a very big issue for a lot of wealthy people, because they're surrounded by a lot of people that want to make them happy. You know, be
sort
nice,
of like
nice
the
to
yes
them.
men type of thing.
Yes men, and for them to like them. I mean, you just look at your workplace. You know, the big boss goes around. You see all the employees.
It doesn't matter what he says. Everybody thinks it's a great
idea.
idea.
And sucking up to the boss and so forth. And it's just the same thing with these people, with these wealthy people. So that's why they tend not to have good relationship track record, because they can't discern which one's the real deal. It's a very hard word. So I feel for them in that sense of the word. And also one thing I've realized, that men have been terribly underserviced.
Underserviced?
Okay. Underserviced in terms of relationship advice. Either you get true relationship advice from those Christian preachers, which a lot of people are put off with because it's got a religious element, or teaching them how to pick up women. That's basically it. So nothing real advice. So I've included a chapter just for men in there. Yeah, tailored for men.
Just for men.
Just for men. And if I get enough interest...
Chapter 8.
Yeah. If I get enough interest, later on I'll have a book just for men as well. Expand it.
For men, chapter 8, it says a checklist of women. A checklist.
Checklist, what you should be looking for.
Is there an app for that on the phone?
Not yet, but if I get enough requests, then it'll come.
Miss Dragonfly app.
You could Dragonfly app.
Make sure she really is who you think she is.
Very important.
What do you mean by that?
That she didn't present an image of someone that she thinks you want. That's why they say.
So she's making her, like, so if you're a multi-billionaire, she's, you know, presenting herself in a way that is appeasing.
Is appeasing. I mean, you can look for examples, say James Packer. I mean, I think he lived with Erica Baxter for about 10 years before they married. And people think that, oh, before you marry, you need to do a test run and live together to see what it's like. Well, he lived with her for 10 years. And then once they got married, divorced after 6.
After 6 years?
After 6 years. And that's official. That's it's a fact. So what does that tell you?
16 years all up.
16 years all up. But after marriage, and 6 years didn't last as long as the 10 years living together. But yeah, so that's actually not a good way to. Not necessarily. It's not to me. It's not a dependable way to find out if you're compatible. Just by living together like that. It depends on how much the other person wants the relationship as to how long they can keep it up for. So, well, if you're talking billions, that's a good incentive to keep it up.
Here it says, does she share the same attitude towards money as you do?
Yes.
So for a billionaire.
For billionaire, I guess they've got such a big flow coming in, it doesn't hurt them. But for the average person, our income is limited, and so if you've got a hole in your pocket, it's never going to be filled with it. That's just one thing about money. Look, a spender and a saver never works. it never works because the saver would be seeing their partner spending the money that they've had a hand in helping to bring in, or part of their saving, and it's painful for them to see that.
Because a saver goes through a level of sacrifice to say, "Oh, I won't buy that.
I won't buy that." Yeah,
I need to save the money.
And they spend. Oh, this is more money. I get to spend more.
And then somebody goes out and buys a big brand that's it's
and then
overpriced or whatever.
And for the spender, being with a saver, they feel constrained. They feel they don't get the freedom. And they're not happy either.
Because retail therapy, like people feel good about going out spending.
So they're not going to be happy as well. So, and the regular advice from relationship advice that you hear is you've got to compromise then. Well, what does that mean? I mean, okay, how about we'll instead of one person doing all the suffering, how about we share the suffering? Okay. So you share half the suffering each. So the spender would spend less, and the saver should be willing to spend some more than they're comfortable with. So neither of them are happy then. It's still suffering. So now both of them are suffering. So just suffering less. So instead of that, why don't you instead of that, avoid that suffering. Saver.
Get it right from the first.
Get a saver, spender, get a spender. Then they get to enjoy their own hobby, so to speak, do what they want to do. And their partner would be supporting them.
Well, there's another part in the men's chapter is she a woman or a little princess? So if you marry a spender and it's got the little princess sort of.
Or no, it's entitlement mentality, and the people that have entitlement mentality are not team players. Going back to that. Okay, it's kind of like you exist to service me. Hang on, you're thinking of if anyone that's done teamwork, is so to speak, have a team project at school, and there's always someone that doesn't do anything, slacking off, but they get the same amount of marks as you do. Whereas you put in all the work. So how would you feel?
There you go.
Out you go. Out you go.
Next.
So that's just a bit of a teaser for men. So so a lot of good information for men. I kept it succinct because men like getting straight to the point. Yeah. So
like, remember, you need to get along with her naturally, no matter what.
No matter what. And I explain, we put a lot of different scenarios
have.
in there.
Really amazing table of contents.
I've interviewed a lot of people.
Clash of the family values.
Yeah. I've interviewed a lot of people, and I guess anyone reading the book would recognize these scenarios because they happen so often. Again and again.
Talking about happen so often, we've got to go to a quick commercial break.
Okay. Okay.
And coming back from commercial break, we're here live, counting down, 3, 2, 1. And welcome back again with Miss Dragonfly, the author of Your Complete Partner, How to Choose the Right Partner for Love and Marriage for a Lifetime. Thank you again. It's been so great to have you here and going through all these matters. This book seems like so interesting and so necessary. And it's so good that you're giving it out for free for people. Yes.
That's where my aim is. Is to help people. I mean, when I realized
the amount of divorces.
Amount of divorces and people not getting the right advice.
And a lot of relationships, they don't really look happy, do they? I mean, a lot of like married couples that have been around they're probably used to each other or whatever, but it doesn't really seem there's a lot of happiness out there. And
no, it isn't. And how it struck me was, I'm also a metaphysicist. I do astrology readings as well, and I was doing relationship compatibility analysis, and I was reading people's charts, and then I had a light bulb moment.
A light bulb moment?
Yeah, look. So
an epiphany.
What I realized was, hang on, what I'm doing is trying to gather with this chart, get along with this chart, with this personality type, get along with that personality type. Well, that's it.
Well, a lot of the ancient cultures, like the ancient Chinese culture, you mentioned Taoism before.
Yeah.
They used to...
Yeah, before someone, back in the old days, before they're married, they'll consult the local astrologer to see whether or not it was a good match before they proceeded.
Is that right?
Yeah. And then, of course, back then, they didn't have the freedom to date like we do now. So they went to the astrologer.
They didn't have the internet.
Then they didn't have the internet as well. Pickings were a bit limited. Yes, you see, they were compatible. But though, given the amount of freedom we have to spend time spend time and date with people, I mean, people are still making so many mistakes. So that's not enough. We need something a bit more.
So you believe that in the astrology you can actually find who's compatible to you?
Yes, I do offer a compatibility analysis
and
as
there's
well.
all different ones, isn't there? There's the Western astrology, like Leo and Aries or whatever it is, and then then there's a Western and an Eastern.
Yeah, an Eastern, but I do the Eastern one mainly because, well, traditionally it was used as well for marriage compatibility, and with good reason as well, because besides seeing if you're compatible, it'll look whether or not your partner brings anything to you. Who's going to benefit more out of the relationship? Is it in good way? Will your partner change you as well? And so forth. And then basically it's so you can make an informed decision. As much information as you can, because this will break through. People cannot lie. From that, they can't present something that they're not. Because
so your birth chart.
The birth chart, yes.
Unless you provide the wrong date.
Yeah, but then they're not. They will have no idea whether or not that wrong date they've provided is a compatible one. Anyway, so they can't lie. That's the beauty of it. And you can book a reading on my website as well, missdragonfly.com. For people.
So if you're serious about getting married to someone, would you advise that someone would have their charts
checked first? Yeah, I think,
and then that would tell if there was any clashes
or anything, or if you should not at all. I mean, I guess a lot of readers, they tend to sugarcoat things and not really want to say because it might upset the client. Okay, but and then they may not get married, or it could be a bad thing if they feel bad if they don't get married based on their advice. But to me, that is actually helping the person. It's better to avoid a bad marriage altogether, a disaster, than just avoid making someone unhappy. So I guess for this small investment, in getting the reading, you are going to avoid many years of heartbreak, trauma, I guess, heartbreak, and money as well.
It's expensive getting divorced.
It's getting divorced, and if that partner ends up being a financial drain as well, you've actually cost money throughout the marriage as well.
And it could go on for many years after.
Many years after.
So there's certain characteristics between people. It can show up in a chart that would suggest like that they would be harmonious in this position. Or
over the long term. What all we're concerned about over the long term, like I was saying, again, if it's just out for a bit of fun, dating for fun, it doesn't matter. But when you gotta live with someone, and they're going to every day, what they do affects you as well. That's when you've got to be very careful.
Well. Yeah.
Yes.
You've got to be very careful.
It's just like more so than saying, a business partner. What your business partner does directly affects your business, and of course then affects you financially. But what your partner does affects your entire life, everything about it. So I guess a lot of people would say, it's too much. Too much. I just be alone. I don't avoid it altogether. But like I said, nothing beats life with the right partner. It can elevate you and make you more than something and achieve more than what you could ever achieve on your own.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. It's great having you here. We have to keep moving now, but thank you so much for coming in and telling us a bit about it. And hope you come in again.
Yeah.
And
Hope to do so soon.
We'll keep check on your YouTube channel,
Yes,
which is
you can find it. It's Miss Dragonfly.
Miss Dragonfly. M-I-S-S.
M-I-S-S. Dragonfly, my YouTube channel. And like I mentioned, I'll also be on Twitter, Rumble, and BitChute as well. So I've been...
And Facebook?
And Facebook, Instagram. I've stopped it for a few years, but now I've gone back and doing a big relaunching it, and for good. I'll be back on there for good. So contact me through YouTube or directly through my website as well. You can send me an email through there or go and sign up for my mailing list.
Well, thank you for coming in, Miss Dragonfly. And for any relationship advice, please check out Miss Dragonfly's YouTube channel and download her book. Free!
Yes. Yeah, so been a great session, and look forward to coming back again sometime.
Thank you.
Okay. So bye.
Bye.